Catacombs, 4 Misty Rainforests, 1 Temple Garden, and 1 Pendlehaven.
Yep.
Alright, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your card choices, about the numbers.
Okay, so I think so Cloudstone Curio, a lot of people like to play 3 because the second one's 100% redundant, but I'd rather draw 2 than 0. Like, the card's just bonkers, and there's 10 1-drop elves, so like a big portion of the time you're just going to be casting turn 2 Curio, and a big portion of the time when that happens, you got a turn 3 win, and so I think anyone playing 3 is just wrong. And then, what else is interesting? Oh, the Miser Ranger is pretty sweet. Like, in the Zoo matchup, you can Primal, gain life, and search for it, and then when you cast Ranger, you just can't lose in the Zoo matchup. And then you have 3 more in the board, and so post-board you have a lot of Rangers, and then that's good. And you can also, a couple times, I've looped Ranger. If you ever return a Ranger with a Curio, it's like the best feeling in the world. Because it's like, you get, like, Heritage Nettle is almost always enough to combo, but you get 2 extra ones, it's like not even fair. And then, other interesting
I guess you're playing 2 Arbor Elf and 4 Boreal Druid.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of versions actually run it the other way around.
A lot of people think that Arbor Elf is better, but, like, I feel like you want to... The key to this deck is, like, to keep as many one-land hands as possible, and if you have, like, Horizon Canopy, Boreal Druid, Elvish Visionary, that's an easy keep, but if you have Horizon Canopy, Arbor Elf, Elvish Visionary, that's an easy mulligan. So, like, even though Arbor Elf's clearly better if you have a forest, there's a lot of hands you can keep without any forests.
And Horizon Canopy and Pendlehaven are really cuttable.
Yeah, they're sweet.
So,
Okay.
So you have an Essence Warden. I've seen Viridian Shaman in that play sometimes. I've seen
yeah, I think you definitely want the Essence Warden in the main, especially since this build plays Ranger and you can Ranger for Essence Warden. But I think you also do need a Viridian Shaman, since a fair amount of people are playing... All in Red was a little popular today, and then there's a lot of Teleria West decks that play 1 Chalice of the Void. And both times I got Chalice, I actually drew my 1 Primal. But if you don't, then...
Sometimes you run good.
Yeah, I have been running a little good today. I mean, I think the deck's good, but I have been running a little good. So, it's nice to have a Summoner's Pact target that can answer Chalice of the Void. So, I would add 1 Radiant Shaman. As for what to cut, I'm not 100% sure.
Not a lot of space here.
Yeah, I feel like this list is super tight, so it's like pretty hard.
What I really like about your deck is how you have the bare minimum combo pieces. Like, a lot of people will have like 2 Primal, 2 Witness, Grape Shot, like all this garbage. You just have 1 Primal, 1 Witness. That's all you need.
Yeah, like people are just like paranoid, or they'll play Grape Shot. Like, the card that's like the biggest blank in history.
Yeah, just an actual mulligan. You don't need it.
Anyway, tell us a little bit about your sideboard. You've got 1 Gaddock Teague, 1 Loaming Shaman, 1 Burnt-in Fortender, 1 Viridian Shaman, 3 Ranger Vios, 4 Ghost Quarter, 4 Umezawa's Jite.
So, some things that... Okay, so as for... One thing interesting about Jite is that you don't actually board it in against Zoo, because against Zoo you still want a combo, and it does answer their Jites, but Seal of Jite isn't very good, and you'd rather just board in Viridian Shaman and use that as your answer to Jite. So Jite, what Jite is for fairies. Ranger comes in any matchup where they have a lot of removal, and you want to sort of grind them out. So fairies, Zoo, builds of Scapeshift, most of those will have a fair amount of removal, and also slower decks where you don't have to combo as fast, because Ranger makes you more consistent but slower. The Gaddock Teague is a Summoner's Pactable answer to certain combo decks like Hive Mind, also an answer to Night Assault's Betrayal, if you get him out before that. Although Night Assault Betrayal is pretty bad because this deck's fast enough that you can race it and Archdruid shuts it down, so it's not that big of a deal. Loaming Shaman's a tutorable answer to graveyard decks. The Forge Tender you can get with Ranger, although I don't even like Forge Tender against Zoo that much. I don't think the Forge Tender is very good.
No one really has Fallouts or anything in their Zoo.
The Boros deck started to run Fallouts.
Yeah, the Boros deck.
That's it.
So if
Kazuya has Fallout also.
If the Boros deck becomes popular, you definitely want the Forge Tender for that matchup. The 4 Ghost Quarters are for Dark Depths. The reason that you don't want cards like Damping Matrix is because you don't actually care about the Thopter combo at all, because if they gain a bunch of life, you just don't care. And Ghost Quarters is by far the best answer to the Dark Depths combo. For people who are considering splashing Blood Moon, I think even if my mana base could support Blood Moon really easily, which it can't, you can get to 9 sources if you're playing 8 fetches and a Stomping Ground, I still think that Ghost Quarter is better than Blood Moon because it can't be Thoughtseized or Duressed or etc.
As a Dark Depths player, I agree completely. The Thopter combo is way too slow, does nothing. I even sided out against your deck.
Yeah. So when you bring in the Ghost Quarters, do you like add land or like how
you add land. Ghost Quarter cannot be considered a land. I mean, Ghost Quarter is you can use it to first of all, colorless mana isn't very useful in this deck, but you can if it's the turn you're going off, use it to destroy one of your own lands and get another forest. But you can't consider it. It's a spell.
Yeah, it's not very good when you're glimpsing. And
then the other thing about how to play with Ghost Quarter, usually what I do is I play Ghost Quarter once I can play Dark Depths and Hexmage without a Chrome Walk. So like if they play turn 1 Urborg and I'm on the draw, I'll play Ghost Quarter on turn 1 and play a turn behind. But if they play turn 1 River of Tears, I'll play Forest Elf, and then on turn 2 I'll play Ghost Quarter and start playing a turn behind.
Well, they could. Why not play around Mox?
Because you have to play a turn behind. It's like pretty awkward.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I found that like I mean you can base it on your this isn't a strict rule. Like you can base it on your hand, and if you think your hand is like bonkers, then you can afford to play a turn behind no matter what. You should.
Fair enough.
But I'd say for most hands, that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of people who I played against who just like play turn 1 Ghost Quarter against me when I just I'm not even close to being able to.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the bad matchups you think?
I think the Dark Depths deck is close. I think with most Elves build, Zoo is probably close, maybe a little unfavorable, but with the Ranger build, it's quite favorable. I think, I haven't found any like really bad matchups. The one thing to know is you have to play really tight with this deck because it's hard to play, and like a lot of games are like not easy. Like a lot of there's some games where you just say, "Oops, I win," and especially since you don't even have to do anything since it goes literally infinite. But like there's a lot of games where you don't do that.
Okay, well, your round starting. Thanks again for stopping by, Matt.
No problem.
And remember that this Good Decks Live was sponsored by MTGChicago.com. You can use the coupon code GGsLive to get 15% off a purchase of $35 or more. So if you're thinking about buying some singles, maybe even singles for Matt's deck, you can use the coupon code GGsLive at MTGChicago.com to get 15% off a purchase $35 or more.
So is that the?
These are old things. These are not the ones that just got posted. Unfortunately, we don't have those. But we should be getting you a new feature match. Probably a bubble match. Should be exciting. So we'll figure out what we're getting very soon.
Yep. So it's a Juza Saito or Patrick Cox versus John Paul Kelly. Now,
John Paul Kelly's a friend of yours, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say. I'm not saying I dislike him. It's just I know him because he's from Australia, and like when I used to be playing in Australia, I'd heard his name. But
sure.
I think
we're probably gonna get the Cox.
Yeah, I would think so because I'm pretty sure. I mean, the Wizards coverage team get to choose which ones they want, and so they probably will get the Saito Juza match.
See, when we were in Tampa, since we didn't have really much to fill between these rounds, I was able to get the jump on and help pick the matches. But here, since we're doing so much in between rounds, bringing you Good Decks Live, those sorts of things, we haven't had too much time to influence which feature matches we get.
Sure. Someone wants to know if Waffle Tapo or Fennel won last round.
Are you guys recording?
I don't know.
Yes, that's right.
I'm not sure.
We're about to start the round.
That was a little far down.
You're not live.
We are.
Oh, you are? Well, I don't want anyone to.
I'm curious to see whether or not the fact that both Adam and Matt were trying to Dream Crush will allow any of the X3s to make it into top 8.
It's possible. I mean, Matt lost though, so his Dream Crushing actually probably let someone else in.
I mean, I know for a fact that Adam's gonna
would you mind
battle again, I think.
Go shake, lots of shaking.
So Adam, I think, was playing Conley, and I believe they'd drawn.
I still don't know. Hey Ray,
so
can you do...
So we have Adam your check in.
What feature match we're getting?
I don't know the names, I just heard it.
Can you, yeah, thanks. There's a lot of handshaking, I don't know.
Why?
I hope that Adam bashes, because it'd be cool to see, wait until they announce the last player in top 8. Give us a little wild card action.
Yeah.
I really don't like it when when top 8 is decided in the last round. It makes things so much less exciting.
Yeah.
No,
really
I think he's playing like
what?
Because he's playing your chick. I mean, there is often kind of like an unspoken pact amongst like some of the top players basically that you're not going to dream crush.
You cannot
some of the more well-known players. Because, you never know when you'll need it next.
Sure.